What you're about to hear might be the final message from a woman who dared to challenge an empire. Jaguar Wright, the voice that never bowed, never silenced, and never forgot, has spoken again. But this time, she called it her final warning. In a trembling voice, she hinted at something darker than music industry gossip. Something personal. A network of silence. A system of control. And at the center of it, one name she could barely say out loud: Beyoncé. For years, Jaguar was dismissed, branded as unstable, bitter, or broken. But as time passed, one by one, her claims started matching real-world events. Artists disappearing from the spotlight, strange contracts surfacing, sudden breakdowns, and whispers of something sinister hiding behind perfection. Then came her last live stream, gone within hours. No reposts, no archives. Only a few screenshots and a single sentence that still echoes online. If something happens to me, tell them Beyoncé already knew. What did she mean? Was this a warning, a threat, or a confession? Because when truth is this powerful, it doesn't whisper. It bleeds. Tonight, we uncover what Jaguar couldn't say out loud. A trail of evidence, a web of silence, and a truth that could shake the very foundation of the industry's biggest icon. This isn't just gossip. This is the final warning. It started quietly. A short video, Jaguar Wright sitting in her car. No makeup, no filters, no crew. Just her phone, and a stare that cut right through the screen. At first, it seemed like another one of her passionate rants about the industry. But within minutes, her tone shifted. Her voice trembled. And for the first time, Jaguar Wright didn't sound angry. She sounded afraid. They think I don't know. But I do. I've seen what happens when you talk about her. About them. Those were her words. And that was the moment people stopped scrolling. Because this wasn't the same Jaguar Wright who once accused powerful men of manipulation and cover-ups. This was a woman who had seen too much. She spoke of closed-door meetings, contracts that bound souls instead of signatures, and a hierarchy of silence built around the world's most flawless superstar, Beyoncé. To outsiders, Beyoncé is the symbol of power, perfection, and control. But to Jaguar, she represented something else. The invisible face of an empire that thrived on silence and sacrifice. She claimed there were codes, hidden messages in lyrics, videos, and public gestures. Tiny details meant only for insiders to recognize. And when she began connecting those dots publicly, her videos began disappearing. Not taken down by YouTube, but flagged, blocked, and shadow banned within hours. Each time, faster than before. Then something strange began happening. Fans who had downloaded her clips started reporting that their phones were being wiped, as if someone didn't just want her silenced. They wanted her erased. People laughed. They said she was paranoid. But then came the coincidences. The backup channels that vanished overnight. The collaborators who went silent. And the journalists who promised to cover her story, only to back out last minute. "You have no idea how deep it goes," she said in one of her final live sessions. "I used to think it was just the labels. Now I know it's the ones running the labels." She never said Beyoncé's name directly, not after that night. But she didn't have to. Her hints were enough, because the moment she mentioned a queen who feeds the system, the internet exploded with speculation. Threads on Reddit, clips on TikTok, long breakdowns on YouTube dissecting every word, every pause, every tear. People wanted to know, and why Beyoncé? Why now? To understand that, we have to go back. Back to the early 2000s, when Jaguar was rising, powerful voice, soulful energy, the kind of talent that made rooms go silent. She was real, raw, unpredictable, but the industry wasn't kind to women like her. It wanted obedience, not truth. And those who didn't play by the rules, they vanished, quietly. That's when she claimed she first saw the system in action. She said there were levels of control designed to protect the stars at the top and punish those who tried to expose the truth. It wasn't just about record deals. It was about ownership, of voices, of stories, of souls. She spoke about rituals disguised as contracts, about secret meetings where careers were traded like currency, and about a network that ensured one thing above all: silence. And according to her, Beyoncé wasn't just protected by that system. She was the system, a living symbol, a gatekeeper, a brand too valuable to question. But as Jaguar said, when something gets that powerful, it doesn't just inspire, It consumes. That's when she claimed she was approached, years ago, to join a new label that would change her life. She turned it down. She said she couldn't sell her story for silence. And from that moment, she was frozen out, calls stopped coming, shows disappeared, collaborations vanished, and those she once trusted acted like she didn't exist. Years later, when she started talking again, naming names, connecting dots, the backlash was immediate. Her home was broken into, her car vandalized. Her husband attacked on camera, still she didn't stop. Because she said it wasn't just about her anymore, like it was about everyone who'd been erased. Then came the warning. Her final message, a shaky video, barely 2 minutes long. She looked tired, broken, like someone who hadn't slept in days. There were no accusations, no rants, no anger, just one quiet sentence: if I disappear, tell them Beyoncé already knew. Within an hour, the video vanished. Every re-upload was struck down, and Jaguar Wright, the loudest voice in the room, went silent. That's where this story begins. Not with fame, not with jealousy, but with a question too dangerous to ask. What did Jaguar know? That made her so dangerous? When Jaguar Wright went silent, the internet didn't. In fact, it exploded. Comment sections turned into digital war zones, half of them defending Beyoncé, the other half insisting Jaguar had been taken care of. The phrase "final warning" started trending. Fan pages turned into investigation boards. And suddenly people weren't just gossiping about music. They were searching for evidence of a cover-up. At first, nobody from Beyoncé's camp responded. Her PR team did what they always did: silence the noise by flooding the timeline with distraction. A Vogue photo shoot here, a cryptic quote there, a teaser for a new project. But something was different this time. This wasn't just a scandal. This felt personal. A week later, Jaguar's old Instagram account, the one that had been deleted, suddenly reappeared. No profile picture, no bio. Just one story post. It was a blurry photo of a contract. No signature, no company name, but the caption read, "You signed it." I didn't. That post lasted 6 minutes before vanishing. But 6 minutes was long enough. Screenshots went viral. And within hours, conspiracy videos were everywhere. They pointed out a pattern: how every time someone spoke against the music elite, something unfortunate followed. A sudden career-ending scandal. A mysterious accident. Or in Jaguar's case, complete disappearance. One YouTube investigator claimed he tracked down the original metadata from the photo Jaguar posted. It showed a timestamp, from 3 days after she was last seen publicly. So, if Jaguar was gone, who posted that story? Others went deeper. They dug through her interviews, frame by frame, finding hidden symbols, triangles, hand gestures, strange word choices. And somehow, the trail always led back to the same 2 letters. BK fans said it meant Beyoncé Knowles. Skeptics said it meant Black King Records, a company that didn't even exist. At least, not legally. But the rabbit hole didn't stop there, because suddenly, another name surfaced. An old producer who'd worked with Jaguar back in her neo-soul days. He claimed he had emails, proof that Jaguar had been approached by one of Beyoncé's silent partners years ago. He didn't show the emails, of course, but the rumor was enough to send shockwaves. Entertainment blogs refused to touch the story. But independent podcasters? They ate it up. Everyone wanted to know. Why was Beyoncé's name even being whispered in this chaos? Some said Jaguar was jealous. Others said she had simply lost control. But there were a few who believed she was warning the world about something bigger. One particular clip resurfaced from 2018, years before her final warning. Jaguar was being interviewed on a small podcast. The host had asked her what she thought of Beyoncé's success. She smiled and said, "When you get that high, you're not flying, you're being lifted." The host laughed, thinking it was a metaphor. But Jaguar didn't. She stared straight into the camera and whispered, "By who, though?" That clip hit 12 million views in 3 days, and that's when the real panic started. Rumors spread that Beyoncé's team had reached out to platforms to contain the story. Channels were demonetized overnight. Creators claimed their analytics dropped mysteriously the moment they uploaded. Videos about Jaguar, one popular content creator said his entire hard drive was wiped after posting a deep dive into Jaguar's timeline. He received an anonymous message right after. "She told you to stop, didn't she?" But the creepiest part? Jaguar's old fans began getting messages too. Private DMs, no profile picture. Just the same sentence, "She's not gone. She's watching." That line sent chills across the internet. People started connecting it to lyrics from Beyoncé's older songs, lines about the watcher, the shadow, the one they can't erase. Even if it was all coincidence, it didn't feel like one. And in the middle of all that noise, someone leaked a document, allegedly a confidential legal notice sent to a journalist who had planned to air a documentary about Jaguar's allegations. The notice accused him of spreading defamation against a global brand and warned of immediate injunction. He backed out. The documentary never aired, but by then the public had already decided. This wasn't just a celebrity feud. This was a digital disappearance. In the following weeks, sightings of Jaguar began popping up everywhere. Airports, parking lots, grocery stores. Every clip blurry, shaky, impossible to verify. Some were obvious fakes. But others, well, they looked too real to dismiss. A woman in Dallas swore she saw Jaguar in a black hoodie whispering to a cashier. When she tried to take a photo, the woman vanished behind a car. Minutes later, the store's security cameras mysteriously malfunctioned. Then came the voicemail. A 2-second clip sent to an independent journalist's burner phone. Just heavy breathing. And one faint whisper, "Tell them." I didn't lie. Experts claimed the voice was distorted. But those who'd followed Jaguar for years said they recognized it instantly. And yet the strangest thing of all wasn't the voice. It was the timing. The voicemail was sent at exactly 3:33 a.m. The same time Jaguar had once said the energy shifts in one of her older live streams. Coincidence? Maybe. But online, nothing was coincidence anymore. Because once the internet believes in something, it becomes real. Comment sections turned into prayer circles. People claimed to dream about Jaguar, warning them to stay quiet. Some said their phones glitched whenever they mentioned her name out loud. And through it all, Beyoncé remained silent. No statements, no posts. No denials, only one cryptic caption appeared weeks later on her Instagram story. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. It disappeared after 24 hours. But fans knew exactly what she meant. Was it a message to her critics? Or a warning to the ones still speaking? Either way, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a feud anymore. This was a ghost story playing out in real time. And the question everyone started asking wasn't where Jaguar Wright was. It was, what did she unleash before she vanished? The night the video leaked, everything changed. It was 2:17 a.m. when an anonymous YouTube channel, at no subscribers, no uploads, dropped a 12-minute clip titled Jaguar Wright, the unedited tape. Within minutes, it was everywhere. The upload looked raw, grainy, unstable, shot in dim light. Jaguar sat in front of a cracked mirror, her eyes swollen, her voice trembling. "If you're seeing this," she began, "it means I didn't make it out." The internet froze. She spoke of secret contracts, names she wasn't allowed to mention, and an unspoken code between the world's biggest stars, a system that thrived on loyalty, silence, and obedience. She claimed there were meetings, not in studios, but in secluded places where careers were decided. And erased. "They told me to stop talking. I said no. So they erased me instead." Then she leaned closer to the camera, whispering something no one could fully decipher. A name, blurred by static, followed by a single word, "Watch." The screen flickered, then cut to black, and just like that, the video was gone, deleted, the channel vanished, but the internet never forgets. By sunrise, mirrors of the video flooded Reddit, TikTok, and Twitter. People dissected every frame, slowing it down, analyzing background noises, reflections, and hidden shapes in the mirror behind her. In one reflection, viewers claimed to see a faint figure, tall, still, standing just beyond the door. Others insisted it was just a trick of the light. But for many, it felt like something watching her. The mainstream media ignored the story entirely. No coverage, no statements. But suddenly, high-profile musicians began posting cryptic captions. "Protect your voice. Truth costs everything. Energy never dies. Coincidence or solidarity?" And then, 3 days later, a storm hit. A journalist from Atlanta posted a tweet. "I've heard the name in Jaguar's tape, and it's bigger than we think." Within an hour, his account was suspended. When followers checked his profile, it read, "Account deleted due to unusual activity." He never posted again. The internet panicked. Hashtags surged. Where is Jaguar? Final warning. Protect the truth. But amid the chaos, something eerie began happening. Videos mentioning Beyoncé and Jaguar together started disappearing from search results. Not demonetized, erased. Creators reported shadow bans. Viewers claimed their recommendations were being scrubbed. It was as if someone was deleting history in real time. Then, out of nowhere, a file appeared on an encrypted forum. A file labeled jwtruths.zip. No one knew who uploaded it. But inside were voice notes, short recordings, distorted, whispered. One clip had Jaguar's voice saying they control sound, light, and silence. That's how they build gods. Another said, B isn't who you think she is. She's who they built. Skeptics called it fake. But for the believers, it was the missing piece. Suddenly, old footage of Beyoncé resurfaced. Moments where she blinked strangely during interviews, froze mid-sentence on stage, or seemed dazed for a split second before performing flawlessly again. Clips that were once fan favorites were now being reanalyzed frame by frame. Look at her eyes, one commenter wrote. They're not hers anymore. Whether it was deepfake paranoia or something real didn't matter, because perception had already shifted. The legend of Jaguar Wright was no longer about truth or lies. It had become something bigger, a symbol, a warning, a ghost story told in pixels and whispers, and then came the final twist. 2 months after her disappearance, a small, private SoundCloud account with 0 followers uploaded a single song titled Final Warning, Reprise. The voice was unmistakable. Jaguar. But the lyrics were different. They weren't about pain or betrayal. They were about freedom. Lines like, you can silence a voice, but not the echo. You can bury a name, but not the truth it carries. The final verse sent chills. I never left. I just changed the frequency. No one knows who uploaded the track. It disappeared hours later, but not before thousands downloaded it. Some say it was her goodbye. Others believe it was proof she's alive, communicating in code, beyond control, beyond reach. In the months that followed, new artists started referencing Jaguar in their lyrics, cryptic nods to the voice they couldn't erase. Documentaries, reaction videos, and breakdowns flooded YouTube. Some mocked her, some worshipped her. But all agreed on one thing. She had changed something. Maybe it wasn't the music industry. Maybe it was us and the audience. Because once you start questioning the story, you can't go back to believing the stage. In the final days of the storm, one old video resurfaced, an unreleased interview from years ago where Jaguar said quietly, almost like a prophecy, the truth doesn't need to scream. It waits. And tonight, as millions still search for her, her words linger, hauntingly alive. If something happens to me, tell them Beyoncé already knew. So now we're left with one haunting question. Was Jaguar Wright silenced? Or did she simply outsmart the system? Did she vanish in fear? Or did she ascend into the shadows, free from the control she once exposed? Because no matter how you look at it, her words echo louder now than ever before. The final warning wasn't just a message to the industry. It was a mirror, held up to every fan who ever believed fame was freedom. And maybe that's what they feared most. Because if Jaguar's story is real, then everything we thought we knew about power, fame, and control was a lie. But if it's not, then someone, somewhere, has created the most believable illusion the internet has ever seen. So what do you believe? Was she telling the truth, or writing a script meant to wake us all up? Let me know in the comments below. Your theory could change how the world sees this story. And if you want to uncover the secrets the mainstream will never touch, subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. The silence is cracking. The lies are falling apart. And as the echoes of Jaguar's voice return across the internet, one thing is certain, the story isn't ending. It's only beginning. The story isn't ending. It's only beginning.